The Ablekuma North constituency here in the Greater Accra region has been without a sitting member of parliament for the past 6 months, since December 7th when we all voted to elect a president and parliamentary aspirants or parliamentary candidates in the various constituency. The Ablekuma North constituency is still outstanding. Many people have said that this is unacceptable in a democracy like what we are practicing here in Ghana. People also compare that if care is not taken, we may see a repetition of what happened in the SALL region repeating itself within the Ablekuma North constituency. Today on the situation, we find out what is holding back the final declaration of parliamentary election results within the Ablekuma North constituency here in the Greater Accra region. My name is Sami Wiafe, and this is the Situation Room. When we come back, I'll tell you who, as usual, I do the show with.
So much love in the air.
What are we looking at?
Thank you guys for joining us on this unforgettable night.
Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead.
The megastar is here.
Absolutely sensational.
Let's go!
Just taking a trip down memory lane.
Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
Crowd goes absolutely emphatic. He has done it.
Get ready for more on SuperSport, the only place to watch all the FIFA Club World Cup.
You're welcome back. You're still watching the Situation Room, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. On Situation Room, as you know, we talk politics and anything that has to do with politics in this country. The Ablekuma North constituency here in the Greater Accra region has been without a member of parliament for the past 6 months. On December 7th, when we held the election to elect a president and members of parliament, they had an issue. Until date, they are yet to declare some 62 polling stations in that constituency that will determine who becomes the next member of parliament for the area. It's a competition between two women, Nane Kwefriye of the NPP and Erabna Obeng of the NDC. Until date, we are yet to know who really won that election in that constituency. Our focus today on the Situation Room is on the Ablekuma North constituency and what is holding back the declaration of parliamentary election results in that part of town. Also, we talk a bit about the NPP politics. In recent times, if you follow the news, you realize that the Ashanti regional chairman of the party, Bernard Enchibo-Isiako, also known as Chairman Wuntumi, was arrested by Yoko and granted bail in the sum of 50 million cedi and some sureties. Many people say that it was a platform for will-be aspirants or persons seeking to lead the NPP to exhibit their muscle or let people know that Charlie, day to the day. So there was an opportunity for them to come in and come and show faces and let people know that they may want to contest the party's parliamentary or the party's presidential primaries if the party opens nominations for individual. Because we saw Dr. Mamadu Bawumia visiting him, we saw Dr. Brian Champon, Kennedy Japan, and former Education Minister Dr. Yao Ose Educhum also visiting him at the Yoko office. And it was a platform for them to exhibit or inform party supporters that, hey, when the chance comes or the opportunity comes, they may want to step forward and lead the party into the 2028 general election. Today on the Situation Room, my colleague Fred Jabo and I, my partner in crime, my brother friend who we always do the show with, will analyze this particular arrest of Chairman Wontumi and if the platform served as an opportunity for these presidential aspirants, will-be presidential aspirants, to more or less extend or give out a strong signal as to their intent to contest the party's presidential primaries if the party opens nomination. Fred, thank you very much for your time again. We are 7 years. Congratulations to us.
Congratulations to you.
Congratulations to us.
It's been an interesting journey the last 7 years.
7 years.
Having to tell the stories to our listeners, having to bring the information, educate, and also to entertain our viewers. It's been a great 7 years. I have enjoyed it. I know you have enjoyed it.
I have enjoyed it.
Even enjoyed it better. It's always an opportunity, a great opportunity to come here every Thursday to serve our viewers with this show, letting them know what's happening within the Ghanaian politics.
Interesting. And what we say, to God be the glory.
Great things he has done.
To God be the glory. For
I didn't hear you sing yesterday anyway.
I'll do the singing today, don't worry. Fred, before we discuss these two main issues, Ablekuma North, without MP for the past 6 months, a lot of people compare or may say that if care is not taken, we may have a repetition of SALL as it happened in the 2020 general election. 4 years without a member of parliament. So the concerns are coming in thick and fast as far as Ablekuma North is concerned. Also, the arrest and release of Chairman Wontumi was more or less like a platform for the various aspirants to showcase themselves or market themselves as possible leaders or possible standard bearers for the MPP in the 2028 general election. So before we discuss or we go into these two main issues, what has been the running issue in the country since Monday till today?
Sami, Chairman Wontumi obviously has been one of the biggest stories in the country. The introduction of the 1 cedi levy on petroleum products also has been one of the biggest conversations since yesterday. We've had the nurses' strike, which is yet to take full effect.
But it's beginning to bite.
It's beginning to bite. That's also been a worry for the government. The president also mentioning the fact that the cedi would stabilize between 10 and 12 has also been some concern or has raised some discussions within the public. But one of the biggest is Chairman Wontumi. Chairman Wontumi had been in detention for over a week.
Over a week, yeah.
For about a week, roughly. Because he was picked up.
He was in for 6 days.
Yes, for 6 days. So close to a week. He was picked up, went to see the CID for interrogation, picked up by Iyoko, remained in Iyoko custody till last week, this Monday, when he was released. Outside the investigations, outside of what everybody was asking was happening to him, outside of the allegations being leveled against him, there was something else happening within the Iyoko premises or around the Iyoko premises, within the MPP. It was now a time...
Show of power.
Not actually show of power, but it was a time to see how the internal politics, the internal elections of the MPP is going to look like. If nobody had an idea of what it would look like, the arrest and detention of Chairman Wontumi has given everybody at least a hint.
An idea.
A hint of how the whole flag bearership race would turn up. It was interesting. It started with Kennedy Japan. He was the first to visit Chairman Wontumi when he was picked up and arrested. Kennedy went there. We are told that he promised to come up with a bill or find the resources to go bail Chairman Wontumi. Chairman Wontumi had to pay over 50 million cedis, about 50 million with two sureties. And Kennedy Japan offered himself and his properties as the bail condition speculated. But what happened next? We are told by the lawyers of Chairman Wontumi that most of the things brought by Kennedy Japan did not have a real document they could not be justified. So then it could not be used. But Kennedy Japan was the first to show up. And in subsequent interviews and listening to some of his aides, he said that he wanted to show up because this is the chairman of the MPP within the Ashanti region, which is a stronghold of the MPP. And he believed that if anybody could help and he had the means to help, he would offer himself to come and help. So he did that. So we see him appearing at Iyoko, going to try to negotiate to see how he could help bail out Chairman Mutumi. That is where it started. Then we heard of the former vice president who were told would be visiting Chairman Mutumi. But before that, the MPs went to the premises of Iyoko in demand for the release of Mutumi. In that particular march from Parliament to the Iyoko office, I was looking out for some few things. One person I was looking out for is the former education minister, Yao Educhum. But I did not find him. Apparently, Yao Educhum had also gone there individually to show support to his regional chairman. He comes from the Ashanti region.
And so, you know, the interesting thing, Mutumi was the constituency chairman for the constituency which the former education minister is member of parliament now. As at the time he wanted to contest as member of parliament, Mutumi was the constituency chairman. I think the Bosom constituency also, or Bosom, one of them. So Mutumi was the constituency chairman in that constituency when Dr. Osei Duchum had come back from the US to come and contest in that particular constituency. So they know themselves. They have a long, history.
they are quite close.
Yeah.
They are quite close. So he went there. The parliamentary caucus, minority parliamentary caucus went there. But Yao Educhum himself also was there. And, some few weeks before that, there was a post on Yao Educhum's Facebook wall, which was deleted immediately, giving a hint of contesting the presidential primaries. So it was no surprise seeing him go there as an individual, even though we are told that he also supported the minority cause. He went there as an individual to show support for his party constituency chairman at the time and his current regional chairman, Mutumi. There came in DMB, the vice president, which was big because in the discussions, we had heard that the vice president was putting together or trying to find people and the resources to go and get the Ashanti regional chairman out of Iyoko custody. He visited Bernardun and Chibosiako on Friday at the NIB offices, but he was unable to see him because we are told that there was a crowd and the officials did not believe that they could bring him over there. A subsequent meeting was arranged 2 days later, which was on a Sunday, where he went to meet and they had conversations. He also went there in search or in a bid to find the resources to meet the bill conditions. That could not happen, but we are told he was working towards it. And you saw the crowd, you saw the support for the former vice president. I mean, it wasn't a surprise because he was the leader of the party some few months ago when the NPP went into the presidential elections. So the support was there. The crowd was there for him. Was he able to get the bill? No, he wasn't. This is the third person who we all believe has plans to contest the presidential elections. Then there came in a fourth person. This gentleman, Brian Champon, also few days before had released a statement about setting up a committee to go and explore
That's how he
the
calls
possibility of running for president. He issued a statement, followed it up by going to visit Chairman Mutumi after all the other three people we have mentioned had gone and had failed to be able to get the resources, the needed resources to bail Chairman Mutumi out. Brian Champon went to see Chairman Mutumi and eventually was the second surety for
that they needed to get it out.
They needed to get for the bill. So, in the first round, we can put it, of the MPP contest, we've seen 4 people who have given us a hint of the fact that they will contest. And Brian Champon just yesterday released a statement or released a video where he was speaking in Pidgin and addressing the youth of this country, telling them what his vision was and what he plans to do. So I think the battle lines have been drawn.
Already been drawn.
We don't know who else will be joining this presidential race, but at least we have an idea of 4 people who are considering. Who are considering. And people will say, why Wontumi? Why Wontumi? Because Wontumi is coming from a region which is deemed as the biggest stronghold of the MPP. The chairman of that region, a man who controls a lot of people within the MPP in the Ashanti region, a resourceful man. You can debate it however you want.
And Wontumi himself has given indication that he may contest national chairman of the
MPP. And so this is quite an influential person within the politics or the internal politics of the MPP. You showing up tells a lot of things. 1, it may be to court his support. 2, is to send a signal to the people of the Ashanti region.
Not only his support, the support of Wontumi's followers as well.
Exactly. Exactly. But also show the people of the Ashanti region that you are with them and you would be with them in times of trouble. So it's just not courting the support of the chairman, who is very influential, but also letting the people within the Ashanti region know that you are with them or you would be with them. So the presidential candidates, I think, were playing the cards in so many ways, letting the people know that we are for you, letting the general populace of the MPP know that we are also resourceful and we can lead the party. You know, in times like 50 million, quite a huge amount of money. You want to run as president, and for running as president, you need resources. So when the time came, everybody needed to show up with resources. Even though one eventually got that resource and which was used, they all came up ready to provide the resource. So it's not just support, it's also showing your financial muscle to carry the party from where it is now. So, I mean, this whole politics being played, very important.
Very important.
And it tells a lot what is going to happen in the coming months.
The party is yet to set a date, but then we are told that somewhere in July or August, the party will hold, a congress where, they already...
That was a conference.
A conference, Yes. And already, they've set out the Constitution Review Committee in motion. So they may want to have a conference either in July or August, so they can look at some amendments. And that particular conference will also be used to announce a date for a possible election of a flag bearer, because they want to elect their flag bearer first before the other internal elections.
So that's one of the proposals.
That's one of the proposals.
So we are not sure whether the delegates would uphold that proposal or support that proposal. But if it's confirmed by the delegates, it means that we are going to have elections for presidential candidates for the MPP before any other internal election.
The electoral area, constituency, regional, and then the national election. So that's a proposal before. And speaking to quite a number of party executives, they are in support of the election of the flag bearer first, because they want to, cure issues of disunity in the party, which has always been the problem of the MPP. You remember in 2007, when the 17 aspirants, went in, it was an issue of unity or disunity that brought the parties or caused the party's defeat. So the party may want to avoid a similar one, because per the party's constitution, when the party is in power, the election is a year or 12 months. But if it's in opposition, it's supposed to be 2 years. But the party feels that the 2 years is also too short a time. So they may want to extend it to maybe 3 years or something. So get the flag bearer elected early enough. So if there are any issues of disunity, the flag bearer and his team may be able to resolve all these matters before going into the main election, which the MPP considers to be a crucial one in 2028 for them. For them, they feel that the party has the power and the capability to come back to power after 2028, because they believe that John Mahama is serving only one term. And so if they do their act well, they may want to come back to power in 2020. So they may want to do the internal election with the flag bearer first before the other, positions within the party. And quite a number of them subscribe to this, and they feel that is the best way, really the best way to go.
As to whether that would actually solve the issue of unity, that is another question. I hold a different view. You could hold a presidential election first, but then at the end of the day, who are the people going to support you? You understand? Because don't forget that you are coming out of an election where you did not perform well.
Yeah.
People are holding...
Well, even your party members, they are very angry at you.
Accusing the leadership. Even you just take the flag bearer out, but the leadership of the party of not performing their duty properly. This is a group of people who openly supported a particular candidate in the just ended primaries, or the primaries to 2024. Are they to be trusted to run an election or primaries fairly?
When the candidate they supported earlier is contesting again.
Contest. You see, so for me, I believe that this issue of unity is not just about electing a flag bearer first. You need to solve the issues which caused your defeat. You need to look at them holistically, address them, and stop the quick fix of holding an election because you think that would solve the issue of unity. Solve the issues on the ground. If it's about having elections to change or to keep the leadership, you do it. Where now everybody is confident that we have a leadership we all support. And this leadership would be able to run a presidential election or primaries for us, which we would deem fair.
Yeah.
You understand?
That's true.
So they need to look at it. I mean, we are not part of the party. The party members are there, the delegates are there, but it's something they should consider and think about well as they go into their conference in July.
You're still watching The Situation Room, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe, and he's Fred Tete Ijabano. We are discussing some internal politics within the NPP. The arrest of Chairman Wontumi in recent times has been a platform for will-be presidential aspirants to exhibit their muscle and also let people know that indeed they have what it takes to lead the NPP come the 2028 general election. That's not the only issue we are looking at. We're also looking at the issue of the Ablekuma North constituency. For the past 6 months, the people in that part of town do not have a member of parliament. They do not have a representation in Ghana's parliament. Many people have compared this to what happened to the SALL area there. Remember the Santoro Kofi, Akpafu, Lolobi, and Likpe, who for 4 years never had a representation in parliament. Parliament is supposed to be 276, but for now we have only 275 members of parliament, with one outstanding, which is the Ablekuma North constituency here in the Greater Accra region. When we talk about Ablekuma North, we are talking about Kwashiman or Doko, that part of town. So these people, or the people there, do not really have a member of parliament, and they've been without or orphan individuals or orphan people there, because for the past 6 months, they do not have a member of parliament. After December 7th, when we all went to the polls to elect a president and members of parliament, there was an issue with some 62 polling stations in that constituency. They've been called for a rerun of the 62 polling stations for the constituency to have a member of parliament. But the NPP there disagrees. They believe that they won that election. They should be declared winners. But the NDC also have their own ideas. They believe that their candidate, Erabna Obin, won that election, and she should be elected as, or should be declared as the member of parliament for the area. If you drive on the N1, heading towards Kwashiman, you see a billboard of the two candidates thanking constituents for electing them as members of parliament. Now, we don't know who really is a member of parliament, whether it's Nane Kuyefiye or Erabna Obin. That's an issue we're discussing this here on The Situation Room, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at Ablekuma North and what is holding back the declaration of the election results in that part of town. Remember, the minority in parliament on Wednesday also went to the police headquarters, petitioned the IGP to provide the needed security for the Electoral Commission to declare who the winner is in that constituency. hear you. Call the Daniel back.
Meet Asantua, a loving wife, devoted mother of one, and a celebrated business owner in her community. Asantua has worked hard to save money, but struggled to find the right investment opportunity. With big dreams and a heart for her community, she always aspired to build a business that could provide for her family and create a lasting impact. Yet, meaningful business ownership opportunities were hard to come by until she discovered Jibu. Partnering with Jibu changed everything. Through her franchise network, Asantua received the equipment, training and support she needed to launch her own business. Purifying and selling affordable, refillable drinking water, soon her investments began yielding strong returns, transforming not only her livelihood but also her community and environment. Today, Asantua's dreams are becoming a reality. Through her Jibu franchise, she's creating jobs, empowering others, providing clean water, and building a brighter future for all. Jibu is transforming lives across Africa with a presence in over 8 countries and 10,000 communities. Join the movement and start your journey towards a better life. Contact us today on 020-984-5817. Jibu, a better life.
So much love in the air. What are we looking at?
Thank you guys for joining us for this unforgettable night.
Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead. The megastar is here. Absolutely sensational.
Let's go!
Just taking a trip down memory lane.
Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
You're welcome back. You're still watching the Situation Room, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. On Situation Room, as you know, we talk politics. And as Fred and I were discussing earlier, we look at some internal issues as far as the MPP upcoming presidential primaries is concerned. Now, the focus is on Ablekuma North constituency. For the past 6 months, the people there do not have a member of parliament. We do not know what's holding back. We are told that some 62 polling stations are supposed to cause whether who will become the member of parliament for the area. There are many who have said that there should be a rerun of election in these 62 polling stations, or run the entire election, the entire parliamentary election in that constituency again. So at least we'll know who is the member of parliament for the people of Ablekuma North constituency here in the Greater Accra region. Fred will take us through the history, what happened and how come we are where we are as at now. Fred. So December 7th, we all went to vote, hoping that we will get 276 members of parliament.
Yeah.
But looks like we have only 275 members of parliament.
Yes, because Ablekuma North has not been declared as of now.
And what's causing it?
We are all looking at waiting for the EC. The EC would need to complete the collation. So what happens is that the Ablekuma North constituency is made up of 281 polling stations.
Okay.
The 281 polling stations, when you put together, the winner of these polling stations will then be declared the parliamentary member of parliament for that particular constituency. After the December 7th elections, there was a back and forth over the collation process. The counting process was done without any problem at the various polling stations. Now came the time to collate the results from the polling stations to put together to declare a winner of the elections. That process started, and within the process, it ended that at 219 polling stations. So the EC was able to collate 219 polling stations out of the 281 polling stations within the Ablekuma North constituency. We were left with 62 of these polling stations. What happened? the representatives...
So the 62 is causing all this confusion.
Yes, the 62 is causing all these issues. We have a Rabna Obin and Nanekya Efriye of the MPP, a Rabna Obin of the NDC. And this is a constituency, you must know, has always been a stronghold or has been held by the MPP for a very, very long time. The MPP president, a parliamentary candidate, used to be member of parliament, came in, beat the incumbent member of parliament to be made parliamentary candidate. So she's a very popular person.
That was Sheila Bartels.
Yes, Sheila Bartels. She beat Sheila Bartels to become a parliamentary candidate for the MPP. So this is someone who is quite popular and known,
well known within
the constituency. Rabna Obin comes in as a new face, but we are told that had really done a lot of work within the constituency. It comes as no surprise that the election results are quite close.
Yeah.
Even though we still don't know the official results, it looks to be very, very close. After December 7th, December 8th, December 9th, there were still issues and the coalition was put on hold because, one, the electoral officials were tired, some of them were intimidated, some of them were threatened. So the Electoral Commission decided to put on hold that particular coalition within the constituency. That coalition was then moved to the Greater Accra Regional Office of the Electoral Commission on the 10th of December. On the 10th of December, you had officials of both parties present. The process of collation started. There again, there were concerns and challenges with the 62 polling stations. The NDC was of the view that when you put the 219 together, they are in the lead.
Okay.
So if there are concerns with the 62, which they have concerns and the MPP also have some concerns because we are told some of the sheets were not available, some of them had been burned, some of them were not found, there were photocopies, some of them did not have photocopies. It was a whole confusion. So if you don't have the rest of the 62 ready, which we could all agree on, declare the NDC candidate as winner. There was a lot of pressure put on the returning officer at the time, the constituency returning officer, to declare. He went ahead to declare and declared Rabna Obin as member of parliament. But it did not end there. Quickly, the MPP filed a suit at the High Court, challenging the results or the declaration made by the returning officer. The court heard the case and ordered for the 62 left to be counted and added before a declaration is made. That 62, which has to be counted and collated, is where we find ourselves now. Within that process, the school which had the electoral materials, including the ballots which were counted in the ballot boxes, were in a classroom. That school got burnt, and part of those ballots also got burnt.
Was it raised down by fire?
Was raised down by fire.
Oh, wow.
Was raised down by fire. So, I mean, it still did not end there. The collation had to go on. But on the 9th of the swearing in, Ablekuma North still didn't have a candidate. So they went to parliament, they swore in the new parliament without Ablekuma North. The EC then, on the 19th or 17th of January, tried to go and finish the collation process because the court had ordered for that to be done. When that process was taking place or about to take place, we are told that some thugs or some people who are believed to be affiliated to the NDC went to cause some confusion and destroyed some properties of the EC. The EC called off that process on the 19th of January. That has not been done since. Later on, the EC...
So since 19th January?
Yes. Later on, the EC came out. So the EC actually accused the NDC of causing the problem at the party, its original party headquarters, when it tried to collate, and also accused the police of not providing the necessary security to get the collation completed, so that Ablekuma North could have an IGP, could have a member of parliament. At the time, the IGP was Dr. Dampare.
Dr. Dampare, yeah.
When you go to the constituency at the time, so from December, after December 7th to January, all the way to January 19th, the two parliamentary candidates had now declared themselves winners. So you drive within the constituency, and there were huge billboards. There were
on the N1.
On the N1
and
other parts
you
of
will
the
see the two of them with different billboards, thanking constituents.
Huge billboards thanking constituents for voting for them to become members of parliament. Since that time, the EC has been quiet. We are not sure of what is happening within the EC's offices on what they plan to do with Ablekuma North. Their biggest challenge, we know, is the issue of security. But in recent times, the new IGP, Christian Yowono, has come out to speak on the issue. In a meeting with the NCC and other stakeholders, IGP Yowono assured the general public and the people of the constituency and also the Electoral Commission that he's going to ensure that the security needed is provided so that the collation could be completed. Let's take a look at and listen to Christian Yowono as he tried to assure the people of the country and the people of Ablekuma North of the needed security to be able to complete the collation in their constituency.
It signifies our shared responsibility to protect the sacred will of the people. Today, we gather at a critical juncture. The collation of results for the Ablekuma North constituency has unfortunately become a flashpoint of contention. Both the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Party have declared victory, leading to rising tensions. The eyes of the nation and indeed the world are upon us to see how we manage this situation. Our task is both singular and profound, to ensure that the collation process is conducted in peace, fairness, and full compliance with the law. We as security agencies are not arbiters of election results. That responsibility lies solely with the Electoral Commission. We have to secure the environment within which the truth is determined, not to decide the outcome of ourselves. On our part, the National Election Security Task Force will deploy personnel firmly, yet with restraint. Our presence will be visible but not provocative. We will act swiftly but not recklessly. We will remain neutral, both in appearance and in action. Furthermore, we will guard against any attempt by anyone to distort this process through threats or violence. Before today's meeting, representatives from the Electoral Commission and a session of the POMA met to discuss the way forward for Ablekuma North. A shared understanding of the exercise and its procedures. In this regard, I would urge the EC to provide the National Election Security Task Force with a roadmap with respect to date and place for the finalization of the collation. Colleagues, history often refers on nations tested by pivotal moments. This is such a moment. The way we handle the situation in Ablekuma North will resonate across the country. It will set the tone not only for this election, but also for public confidence in the years to come. Let us secure not just ballot boxes, but also belief in the system. Let us protect not just physical lives, but the spirit of democracy. Let us stand firm. not in confrontation, but in conviction. Ghana deserves nothing less. Thank you, and may wisdom guide us throughout it.
So that's Inspector General of Police, Christian Youno, telling us the preparation or the readiness of the police to provide security for the counting or the completion of the collation process.
So if the IGP has given all the assurance, what are we waiting for then?
We are waiting for the Electoral Commission to come up with a date. So you even hear the IGP urging the Electoral Commission to give them a roadmap, a date, a time, so that they prepare and provide the needed security. But Sami, outside the IGP, this thing has been playing out within the political parties, and not just amongst the political parties in their main headquarters, but in Parliament. Last week, our colleague Umaru Sanda had an interview with the Minority Chief Whip, Roxy Nelson Dafiamekpo, about Ablekuma North. And he says that the NDC is not ready to give up that seat, even though they have the overwhelming majority in Parliament. They think that they want that seat and they want to keep that seat. So what are they going to do? They are urging upon the EC to ensure that the collation is completed and the NDC is declared the winner. And let's take a look at, listen to Roxy Nelson Dafiamekpo in this interview with Umaru Sanda, where he says that the NDC will do everything possible to ensure that they win the Ablekuma North constituency seat.
Look at Ablekuma North, like a stalemate forever. EC is totally clueless, unable to declare for MPP or NDC. It's such an...
The MPP was blamed for what happened in SALL. You guys, the NDC, would take the blame for what is happening in Ablekuma North if they never get representation for the next
Why would an NDC take the blame for what happened in Ablekuma?
Why did MPP take the blame for what happened in SALL?
This was an electoral commissioner that the government permitted to issue a statement on the night before the day of the election, nearly 11 p.m., before daybreak 7 December, and said, in the elections that will take place in SALL, there will be presidential elections, but there will be no parliamentary elections. And as a responsible government, you allow an electoral commission to do this.
In Ablekuma North, your party members are accused of destroying the party, the electoral material, burning down places.
I think it is I think you may have to go back. It is rather the NPP we have accused because we were leading. They bent the center down. How would I be leading an election and get results bent? Why?
They say it was you who did that because you were losing.
Even with all the issues, we are still leading for the record. That is why we are making demands that it be declared, because there are remedies provided under law. If you go to Article 95, which deals with the removal of Speaker, 97, which deals with the circumstances under which a member will leave the House. There are also provisions that says that where results are declared and you are aggrieved, there are remedies and the timelines within which. So if they declare and the NPP is aggrieved, they know what to do. But the Electoral Commission, as an independent constitutional body, cannot hold everybody in abeyance.
So you're saying that despite the numbers you have, you're still going to fight for more?
Because that is what the people have given us.
So that was Majority Chief Whip Roxy Nelson Dafiamekpo, who says that they are not going to give up on the Ablekuma North seat. Their colleagues on the other side, the minority, yesterday decided to stage a walk from Parliament to the police headquarters. What were they demanding for? Also demanding for the Ablekuma North constituency collation process to be completed. For them, they believe that the police is not providing the security that is needed. So they are looking or urging the police or going to force the police to provide the security which is needed to get the Ablekuma North 62 polling stations left to be collated so their candidates, Nane Kwefiye, is declared the winner, because they believe in their heart of hearts that they have won this particular election. The minority chief whip, the opposite side of Roxin, also spoke to the media after they went to see the police. And this is what he had to say.
Disenfranchisement of the people of Ablekuma North represent not only a denial of their constitutional rights to representation, but also an affront to the democratic principles enshrined in the 1992 Constitution. This crisis erodes public trust in the integrity and independence of state institutions, particularly the Ghana Police Service. We therefore request that your office takes immediate steps without any more delay. Deploy adequate security personnel to the Electoral Commission at its designated collation center. Ensure an enabling environment for the peaceful and lawful conclusion and collation and declaration process in Ablekuma North. Uphold the High Court directive and cooperate fully with the EC to bring closure to this matter once and for all.
Frank Anodompre, the minority chief whip, also insisting that the police provide security to ensure that the declaration is made so that the person they believe who is their candidate, Nane is declared as winner. So, Sami,
but the police has given assurance that they are ready.
Sami,
so is for the EC to give us a date,
exactly,
time and venue.
Exactly. You see, Sami, this whole thing is on the head of the Electoral Commission. For a very long time, we've been allowing the political parties to trade accusations amongst themselves, but we've not heard anything from the Electoral Commission. You see, this is the same thing which happened to SALL. The SALL situation may be different. The SALL situation, there was no constituency at the time. There was no election. A group of people were denied representation. There was nothing done about it. This issue was sent to court for 4 years. The courts had to rule on the matter. Nothing was really done. We come back 4 years down the line. There's an election held within a constituency. The election is completed. Counting is done. All which is needed is collation. It's not been done. And all we are doing is we are sitting quiet and we are watching without ensuring and putting pressure on the Electoral Commission to declare a winner in that particular election. You see, what we shouldn't do as a country, what we shouldn't do as a people, is to make it a norm for people not to have representation in Parliament.
Because the Constitution
guarantees representation. We have done it once. We are looking at doing it the second time. We shouldn't allow this thing to happen for a second time. The Electoral Commission needs to take action. If there is a problem, if there is something they need to do, or there's something they don't have, or they require, or they are looking for, they should let the people of Ghana know what the issue is, rather than sitting quiet in their offices and saying absolutely nothing
and since
about
January,
the issue.
They haven't made any comment on this.
Sami,
and it's worrying.
And you see, that's what I'm saying, that we've had an issue with representation last 4 years. We are having another issue with representation. Last 4 years, it did not happen. This time round, we shouldn't make it look like, okay, people were, for 4 years, there were people without representation. Was nothing happened. It was okay. So then it should be okay. It is not okay. They need to take action. They need to come out and tell us what they want to do, what their plan is, and how they are going to go about this collation.
All right, Fred, just hold on for me. Let me go on Zoom and speak to Daniel Yao Tonyega, who is the Ablekuma North Constituency NDC Elections Director. He was in the thick of affairs as far as this whole process, was or is concerned. Hi, Daniel. Thank you very much for your time, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure you live in a constituency. The more reason why you are holding a position for the NDC in the constituency. Assuming you are not an NDC person or a general constituent, are you worried that for the past 6 months you don't have a member of parliament?
Yeah, Sammy, thank you very much. Of course, assuming I wasn't living in the constituency, I would be worried, just as Fred had chronicled the event that had gotten us to where we are today. Of course, last 4 years it happened for the people of SALL, and all of us complained. We complained because as of that time, it was an ineptitude and incompetence of the same EC that brought us to that situation. And this time around, elections have been conducted, everything has been done. Now it has gotten to where someone must, hold the bull by the horn and do the needful. And that's where we find ourselves. So obviously, if I were not to be part or not to be a resident of this constituency, I would definitely be worried, because it's an issue of constitution and it's a matter of elections. So if it continues to reoccur after each and every electoral season, then it's a call for concern.
The Ghana Police Service says it will give or has given the assurance that the needed security will be provided for this whole declaration to be done. The MPP believes that it won this particular election, and so even if there should be a rerun out, the MPP said there shouldn't be any rerun. They should just go ahead and do the declaration because they know that they won the election. The NDC also feels that they won the election. The MPP claims that it has the pink sheets. The NDC says it does not have those pink sheets. So the agreement is that go with the pink sheet of what the MPP has, and then the declaration will take place. But the NDC disagrees. You don't think that is what is holding this whole thing back?
Sammy, it's a very good question. Now, the police have given their side of it. They say they are, according to the IGP, they are ready as the electoral management task force. They are urging the EC to give out a clear roadmap for it. You see, with respect to what MPP is saying, it's a figment of their imagination. I, Daniel Yaumensa Toyinga, I am the elections director of the NDC in this constituency. So from the word go, any event that had occurred with respect to this election, I have been in the thick of affairs. And MPP did not win the election. You see, the reality is that, like Fred said, during collation, some disturbances came, and after that, it has been back and forth. Now, even when they took the case to the High Court and the judge ruled that EC should go and then have the best of security from the police and do the collation, your reporter, I've forgotten his name, Charles Owusukumi, was consistently at the collation center. And you can realize that the EC, their work to be fair, transparent, and then firm to make sure that these things are done, we're always tilting towards supporting one of the candidates or one of the parties. And I and my team had consistently, made the complaints to whoever is supposed to, hear us. But of course, now that's just by the way. Now, the reality is that we, as an NDC party, we have been in this constituency, and for the past 20 years, over 20 years, MPP have won the elections and nobody complains. Now, they are making this hue and cry because they think that at long last, the entire constituency have broken free onto the NDC side, and we have won it. We have won it because our local coalition says so. Our local coalition says that we won the election in the excess of 400. Now, we are going in there because, unfortunately, the pink sheets that we carried to the collation center was part of the ones that were disrupted. Okay. Now, after collating the 219 polling stations, the MPP there and there said they don't have anything. Well, that is just by the way. But why do they have to make a forgery of electoral results on a scanned copy of a pink sheet? Now, for them 62 that they have got so far, they were all scanned copies. And in fact, fortunately for us, the last time we met, we also provided a duplicated copies of the pink sheet. And that's where we had the presiding.
Hello, Daniel.
Officers having a lot of challenge because they look at this sheet. The figures here and the figures there are not the same. So if you can recall, there were 3 different. Yeah, hello. Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you. Go ahead with your submission. I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Daniel.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So like I was saying, thank you. So like I was saying, 3 different polling stations, presiding officers came and they were confused. One was saying, well, the handwriting looks like mine, but the figures there are not what I can recall that happened. These are the confusion we have been telling the general public, that because the pink sheet MPP brought were scanned copies, they have made some play. So I am expecting the EC to do the needful, to do the right thing. And then for us to have our peace, because we will not accept that the situation of SALL will happen to Ablekuma North constituency. No, that one is unacceptable.
So what do you intend to do? Because it looks like we are getting to that side.
Okay, so Sammy, where we are getting to, I believe that we are getting into a situation where maybe the EC will rise up from their slumber and do the right thing. Because we are saying that if the CI 127 do not stipulate that we can use electronic copies of the pin sheet for collation, I stand to be corrected. But per my reading, there isn't anything to that effect. So if we do not have it, then why do like somebody says, if it's not broken, why do you fix it? If we don't have it, and that has been the bone of contention, then why don't we go and rerun the entire 62? This is simple. I believe that any Ghanaian would understand that, okay, in the fairgrounds, you wouldn't want to tilt towards one political party or the other. So you want to rerun the 62, believing that, of course, the same constituent will come back and vote, and then the winner will be declared therein.
Daniel, thank you very much for your time. Daniel Yao Tonyega is the NDC Director of Elections for the Ablekuma North constituency here in the Greater Accra region. For the past 6 months, they've not had a member of parliament. Confusion over who was really declared or who is the winner of the parliamentary election in that particular constituency here in the Greater Accra region. Many people have compared the situation to what had happened in SALL, where for over 4 years, they never had a representation in Ghana's parliament. A lot of people want the Electoral Commission to come out and speak on this matter and give a clear timeline as to when the declaration of the 62 remaining polling stations will be done, date, time, and venue for the people of Ablekuma North to have a representation in parliament or a member of parliament. We had earlier on, booked the Greater Accra Regional Organizer of the MPP, Prince Obeng. He had agreed to be in the studio with us for us to discuss the Ablekuma North, but unfortunately he didn't show up. The more reason why we didn't hear the side of the MPP, in this matter. Prince had agreed to be with us in the studio, but he didn't show up. So this is where we are. The pressure now is on the Electoral Commission to come out clear on the timelines or the dates as to when an official declaration will be done in the Ablekuma North constituency. Fred?
Sami.
So now, as they say, the ball is in the courts of the Electoral Commission.
Exactly. And as I said earlier, everything is on the head of the Electoral Commission. But, even though everything is on the head of the Electoral Commission, I also believe that the political parties should discipline themselves, because it's based on their actions that we've gotten here. The political parties should also discipline themselves and ensure that when the EC says that we are going to collate, we are going to collate. Whatever the EC
don't go there with tax.
Don't go there with tax. And go there peacefully. Let peace prevail. Go there. Everybody provides what they have. The EC decides. The Constitution makes way for you to challenge whatever results which are declared. So the moment is declared and you are not happy with it, you go to court and challenge it.
Sure. He's Fred Jabano. I am Sami Wiafe, and we brought you another exciting edition of the Situation Room that came to you live from our studio here in Accra. So we'll come your way again next week. May the good Lord be with us all.